Are you tired of seeing the same mod packs again and again? Hi, I'm Cosmo, and if you're new here, welcome. In my Discord, I have a channel called Submit a Project, where verified authors of mods, mod packs, resource packs, etc. can post their projects. I haven't done a video on these projects yet, but I figured I'd grab some packs from the channel and explore them, and if I felt they were up to par, I'd maybe do a showcase. This video is going to be a little different, so I'm only going to do one mod pack this video, and you've probably already seen the title and thumbnail, so you already know what it is. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I also have a Discord server and a Twitch account if you like live streams. Quick disclaimer, because this mod pack was submitted directly in my Discord server, I have interacted with this author before, and I'm not personal friends with them, but I want you to know that bias may be present. I will be as objective as possible, but it's not fair to you guys if I don't make that known. Now, let's talk about Melatonin by Ivory. This is a fabric mod pack available on Modrinth and technically on CurseForge, but the author does note that the CF version is outdated and buggy, so get it off Modrinth basically. They describe their pack as a carefully selected set of vanilla plus mods designed for a slow-paced and relaxing survival playthrough. Having played it for quite a bit of time in order to test it, I will say I did enjoy it quite a lot. They also note that it was heavily inspired by Raspberry Flavored, a mod pack by Raspberry, that I actually reviewed in an older video that was going into mod packs that I felt were really underrated. This does shine through in a lot of aspects as someone that has played both, but Melatonin does stand on its own and has many key aspects that differ from Raspberry Flavored that make it worth playing even if you've tried the latter. First thing I want to mention is the main menu. It is so cute. I also really loved the music, though I won't play it here because I don't want to get copyrighted. The menus were all customized. There was a customized set of resource packs already equipped, and while shaders came disabled by default, there were multiple to choose from, including a performance option, which is the one I chose for a bit before testing the other shaders, but we'll get there. Next, let's talk performance, which is a really important thing for a lot of folks out there with some lower end computers. Running this pack on my PC with no changes at all outside of disabling VSync and removing the FPS limits had me maxing out around 360 FPS and averaging around 230 to 270, but do not quote me on that. I was not paying that close attention. Enabling the light shaders only made a very slight change in performance, but the only tell was my FPS average becoming ever so slightly lower. Heavier shaders put me around 100 to 120 in the nether, but only around 80 in the overworld. However, when I was in like a more neutral biome, they did go up. I think it was just the biome I was in partially. I will say I did notice significant lag spikes when rendering in new chunks, dropping me down to a whopping 8 FPS and sometimes just keeping me in the 30s. So I will report that to the developer, or maybe they'll see this video. In the meantime, while we wait for a patch that fixes that, you can pre-generate your world by adding a mod such as Chunky. One thing I decided to add on to these videos is a performance test on my laptop. Now, I do have a gaming laptop, an Acer Nitro 5, but it's around 5 years old and is the version with an integrated graphics card and on AMD hardware, so it's not the highest end laptop ever. I was actually a little disappointed in the performance on my laptop. Whatever fancy leaves thing is going on really tanks the frame rate, and I couldn't find a way to disable it. The swamp I initially spawned near was like unexplorable. When I teleported to a plains village and got past the chunk lag, I was steady around 90 to 110 FPS, which isn't bad at all. I think my main concern with the performance here is chunk loading and this bushy leaves stuff. This was all without the stress of recording, by the way, on my laptop. The frame rate from my PC was including the stress of recording, so it may look a little different. I do know that when I used to play a lot of RLcraft on my laptop, disabling bushy leaves, I think that was the mod name, made my laptop perform so much better. So I don't know what exactly is doing the leaves thing, but it's really bad for performance, and I think if I was able to disable that, I would not be having as big of a problem. And finally, before we get into the highlighted mod showcase, let's briefly discuss progression and little things to note about the pack. Spoilers ahead, if you want to try this pack mostly blind, then this is your last chance. So this mod pack is truly a chill experience, and it's one I'd recommend for newer players or for trying to get your friends into modded Minecraft for a few reasons. Progression is interesting because, as you'll notice on your first day within the mod pack, there's not a natural day-night cycle. You have full control over it and the ability to set to clear weather as you wish. Similar to Raspberry Flavored, the furnace recipe requires coal, and there is no cobblestone toolset. Rather, you're given a copper one between iron. I was able to skip directly to an iron pickaxe because of my lucky spawn and got geared up pretty quick. You need a bottle of dimensional tears to open the nether portal, which I found in a ruined portal chest. After you get your blaze rods, you may be surprised, like I was, to see that create is in fact required in order to get to the end. This is where it may get a bit more difficult for your friends who don't know mods, but since we only have base create and the building blocks, it's a great starting point. You also need echo shards to make Eyes of Ender, so the end dimension is locked behind your first excursion to the deep dark. I'm not covering everything here, but it is for sure interesting. Now let's get into the actual individual mod showcase. As you can see, I have this old growth birch forest, which is so pretty, and this little beach house I built. Just to show off some of the building potential in this mod pack, if we head upstairs, you can see we have one of my favorite mods, handcrafted. It's a very survival friendly furniture mod, and it's something that I really love. You can also see hints at other mods as we get by here, like you can see the create stuff, some food mods, you know, the whole thing. Right here we have the copper stuff. Wow, copper's actually important now. It's a great in-between set, and if at first you don't feel like using all your iron on tools, you can obviously use the in-between, which would be copper. Then we also have little trinkets, like we have a slingshot, tuning fork, which can be used to locate amethyst geodes, which is pretty sick, especially if you're a builder. We have this heavy key, and then we also have soap and just funny things like the bubble blower and the flute. We have hats, which are pretty sick. I believe this gives you buffs with villagers, but I'm not 100% sure. Typically there's a little description that shows up with it. I could be wrong. Next we have little guys. That's my chest. It's not the mod name, but this was my little description for it. So if we come over here, is the night cycle progressing? Oh my god, it is. Wait, what? Weird, okay. The entire time I was playing in survival mode, the whole daylight stuff didn't progress. I had to change it manually if I wanted. But anyway, here is a snail that you get because we have naturalist, which is wonderful. We also get some creeper variety. There are a bunch of these little guys. Like you can see, we've got a desert one too. Oh, and it differs per biome, like we got a snowy one as well. And then we have endermen that also differ per biome, like this is an end enderman, that's so creepy. And then a badlands enderman. He looks so sick. He looks very friendly. If not friend, why friend shaped, you know? Now if we go back over here, you can see we also have, that's what the point of the mask is, which is just a bunch of masks that are pretty cool looking. I like the crown a lot. I think it looks pretty interesting. There's a lot of different ones that you can try on. We also have some interesting armor and weapons, like we have the whole Amorite set. Yeah, see? Look at this. That is sick. And then we have some food mods. We have Farmer's Delight, which is always awesome. Farmer's Delight is probably hands down one of my favorite food mods ever. And I know it's a bit overused in mod packs, but it's for a good reason. It's a great mod. We also have one that was this was actually my first experience with this one. Brewin' and Chewin', that's what it is. And if you go in here, you can see we've got vodka, pizza, horror lasagna, kimchi, jerky, pickled pickles, beer, and so many more options. It's a lot of fun. Like you can even see we've got coasters, which I guess the block got deleted, but you can put things on coasters and it's just so sick. And we also got stuff below here, but that's for you to explore. Now, if we come back out here, we're gonna go over here and you can see create. We have base create along with its building blocks. If you don't know create, that's okay. This is a great mod pack to get familiar with it on because you're not gonna be overwhelmed with all these different things you can do because it is just base create. There are millions of tutorials out there and it's honestly, I'm not a huge fan of create because I personally don't care for tech mods. I've made it clear I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is great for people that want to get more into the technology mods of Minecraft. If we go over here, we can see we've got the funny dimension mod. I actually got very lucky where I spawned earlier, like when I was playing survival, because I spawned right next to a ruined portal that had some of this here, which was great. But you just open it like that, and then you can go right into the nether, which as you can see, we have much better frame rate with the shaders when we're in the nether for some reason, which is wild to me. I feel like usually it's the opposite, but yeah, crazy portal spawn, by the way. And yeah, that's mainly the mods that I wanted to highlight from this. Obviously there's more to explore, but it's a much more carefully selected set of mods. So instead of finding like every animal mod that can exist and shoving it in here, we only have naturalist. We don't have Alex's mobs, which may be a little disappointing to some because let's be real, the raccoons are adorable, but I feel like Alex's mobs is also incredibly overused sometimes. But then again, it's also just because it's a great mod. So. And then you'll also find along with the Enderman overhaul, there are different types of pearls, which are really interesting. And I'm not entirely sure what your progression may look like in this, but it seems like this mod pack is definitely more for long-term worlds. So highly recommend for more long-term playthroughs and probably with a friend or two. You can play with friends in this mod pack. It doesn't use Essential, which a lot of you may be more familiar with, but it does use E4MC in order to play with friends and it does come within the mod pack. And thank you for watching. I know this was a lot shorter than my typical showcases, but I feel like this way I was able to give a lot more attention to just one mod pack, and I actually really enjoyed it. I have some more on the way. I played a bunch of mod packs on stream yesterday when I was streaming for way too long. And make sure you join the Discord so you don't miss updates from me. And if you're a mod pack author that really needs advice or wants a community to help develop your pack with you, then feel free to join. YouTube thinks you're gonna really enjoy this video that's popping up on screen now. Bye!